quiet. Oh. I see. One moment. Hey, thank you for the follow. All right. We're good to go. Sorry, I was having a bit of a issue with my one of the plugins I normally use. Let's get into this loud-ass game. Also, guess who's been getting copyright claims for music that's in the game? Me. So we're going to be playing with the music off because I forgot. I should do that. But yes, I'm here. Hopefully my mic is not shitty. Okay. Just checking the gauges, making sure we have enough fuel before we take off. Okay. Very good. Put that there, carry the 2. And send a diplomatic letter to this country. Then you do the loop-de-loop, I think. All right, got it right here. Yep, and Bob's your uncle. So didn't finish Hitman 3, so we're gonna do that. Yeah. We last where we last left off, we were in China. I think I remember what I was trying to do. Yeah, let's start off with some director's commentary. I think that'd be cool. Cannot find this item in your cave. That's so sad. Breakfast worm. Breakfast near the entrance. Okay. Yeah, I want the sniper rifle. Thank you. Very good. When stock is used, some advanced targets are moved to a safe place. Okay. That's nice. That's nice. That's good. Okay, good. Good. All right. Carry the 2. Okay.
Chongqing, China. This city is Big Brother's wet dream with more than 2.5 million cameras covering 15 million people. Privacy is a 4-letter word in this place. It's pretty ironic that a cloak and dagger organization like the ICA keeps its most valuable secrets here. You'll find Hush conducting his fringe experiments in an abandoned apartment building.
His freak experiments!
While Imogen Royce, the archivist, runs the day-to-day business of the ICA data facility. I just hope you know what you're doing, 47.
Ain't got no clue, girl. But we're gonna give it our all.
Welcome to Chongqing, and the mission where Agent 47 is about to kill his past.
Hold on, you're quiet, bro. I gotta turn bro up. The game has gone quiet on me again. What do I do in the meanwhile that makes us so insane? So I do wonder. Lord have mercy. Okay.
We wanted this to be our in-city level, but a different one. In a big Chinese metropolis, you would expect big dense crowds, but we've felt like going in a direction that would better match the mood and feel of this mission. We have 2 targets, but this is more or less a hit on the ICA. We are here to take them down for good and forever break all ties with the institution that gave Agent 47 purpose for so long. Coming from a booming rave with a big crowd, we wanted something more serene and calm. A night mission, backstreets, very noir, very secretive. And the rain, of course. Not only there to give us location variety, but also to enhance the feeling that after this mission, there is no going back to how things were before. It is a point of no return. There are no more ICA sanctioned targets after this mission. But it is also another very important step for 47 and his path to his own agency. The hope is that this also is reflected in the composed music, with the church-like.
Yeah, I'm not playing that.
Somewhere in
Yeah,
this
sorry.
location is a big ICA facility, hiding away in plain sight. We wanted the player to explore and look around, spending time in the rain before finding their way in. So at the surface, this mission is a bit harder, with entrances that are not always so easy to find. It's a location where shady things are going on, and the player is encouraged to explore and discover. We have 2 different fortresses in this location, and while they share a theme of being very high-tech and futuristic, they are still very different in their nature. The actual ICA facility is clean, professional, and focused. It's about big data, and it's the space where the target Royce resides and where she is conducting her experiments, trying to bring the ICA into the future. The outer fortress is wilder and more rough, where shady experiments are taking place, not sanctioned at all by the ICA. It's an ad hoc improvised space, a place where the other target, Hush, is trying to realize his vision of the future of the ICA. And he definitely has a different approach than that of Royce.
They're beefing.
But in line with the themes of the Hitman games, they both, in slightly different ways, are about control, agency, and predictability. This is also something we lean into with the story arc of 47. There's always someone telling him what to do. We wanted to really show the relationship between Diana and 47 in this mission. And we do that in the ICA Data Core hack event. In this moment, 47 looks back at his past and is starting to realize the type of relationship he has with Diana. Who is in control here? And also, what is she doing in this very moment? It is supposed to be part nostalgic and part forward-moving, as 47 deletes all of these moments and then uploads the rest of the ICA files, exposing them to the world, killing his past.
Cool. Up and running.
Don't mind me. I just came here to finish off a Hitman 3 times.
Nice. Come. Yeah, suck it. Yeah, suck it. That's a lot of gulps.
Who you? That's one.
That's one. That's one. That's just one. I'm gonna stop guessing before I start putting in
Hello there, sir.
like actual pins to stuff that I know. Finished off 3 times. Hey, that's all good. Thank you, Synth. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate you. Get home safe.
Come on. You know what?
Who's that big billboard? Yeah, that one. Yeah, that. Oh, hell no. Is there a way I can send the guards up there into alerta mode?
So how was your trip? You went to Norway, right? Did you see lights? It was
There's nothing to do over here that can help with this. I wonder. If I could get that guy's attention. No. Oh my god, they actually heard that. Oh shit. Is he gonna go check it out? Yeah. Wait, what? Assholes. Assholes. All right, so we're gonna just reload and pretend that didn't happen. No, 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 no. Nope. Maybe I should start with a lockpick though. Actually, hold on. I want need for restructuring. That's so true. If you vomit a poison, the national peoples of China will find a place to vomit. Thanks.
Welcome to Chongqing, and the mission where Agent 47 is about to kill his past. We wanted this to be our in-city level, but a different one. In a big Chinese metropolis, you would expect big dense crowds, but we've felt like going in a direction that would better match the mood.
Hold on. Yeah, headphones. Lobby. Lobby? Bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm changing. I'm putting it back to stereotypes.
And feel
I guess that's stereo, right?
We have 2 targets, but this is more or less a hit on the ICA. We are here to take them down for good and forever break all ties with the institution that gave Agent 47 purpose for so long. Coming from a booming rave with a big crowd, we wanted something more serene and calm. A night mission, backstreets, very noir, very secretive. And the rain, of course. Not only there to give us location variety, but also to enhance the feeling that after this mission, there's no going back to how things were before. It is a point of no return. There are
Just
no
like
more
Gooning.
ICA sanctioned targets after this mission. But it is also another very important step for 47 and his path to his own agency. The hope is that this also is reflected in the composed music with a church-like choir. Somewhere in this location is a big ICA facility, hiding away in plain sight. We wanted the player to explore and look around, spending time in the rain before finding their way in. So at the surface, this mission is a bit harder with entrances that are not always so easy to find. It's a location where shady things are going on and the player is encouraged to explore and discover.
I didn't grab the sniper rifle. But that's okay. So I'm just gonna restart it again. Even though it's probably not faster. I just feel like it, okay? Yeah, exactly. Prove my point.
Chongqing, China.
Welcome to Chongqing, and the mission where Agent 47 is about to kill his past. We wanted this
So
to be
tempting.
our in-city level, but a different one. In a big Chinese metropolis, you would expect big dense crowds, but we've felt like going in a direction that would better match the mood and feel of this mission. We have 2 targets, but this is more or less a hit on the ICA. We are here to take them down for good and forever break all ties with the institution that gave Agent 47 purpose for so long. Coming
So
from a
long,
booming
Agent
rave with a
47.
big crowd, we wanted something more serene and calm. A night mission, backstreets, very noir, very secretive. And the rain, of course. Not only there to give us location variety, but also to enhance the feeling that after this mission, there's no going back to how things were before. It is a point of no return. There
Just
are
like
no
Etching.
more ICA sanctioned targets after this mission. But it is also another very important step for 47 and his path to his own agency.
Yep.
The hope is that this also is reflected in the composed music with the church-like choir. Somewhere in this location is a big ICA facility, hiding away in plain sight. We wanted the player to explore and look around, spending time in the rain before finding their way in. So at the surface, this
Hiding in
mission
plain
a
sight
bit
is
harder
kinda
with
stretching it, but
entrances
sure.
that are not always so easy
You have to like
find.
break into a
It's
security
location where shady
container,
things are going on,
like
and the
hiding
player is encouraged
way in the
to
back
explore
of some
and
place with
discover.
like some hidden keypad and shit. It's like, I
We have
don't
2
know.
different fortresses.
I don't know
in this
about hiding in
location.
plain
And
sight.
while
I
they
don't know if that's
share
accurate.
a theme of being very high-tech and futuristic, they are still very different in their
Illegal activities.
nature. The actual ICA facility is clean, professional, and focused. It's
A
about
sneaky
big data,
sneak.
and it's the space where the target Royce
Sneaky
resides
boy.
and where she is conducting her experiments, trying to bring the ICA into
Disguised as meatballs? You know it, brother.
The outer fortress is wilder and more rough, where shady experiments are taking place, not sanctioned at all by the ICA. It's an ad hoc improvised space, a place where the other target, Hush, is trying to realize his vision of the future of the ICA. And he definitely has a different approach than that of Royce. But in line with the themes of the Hitman games, they both, in slightly different ways, are about control, agency, and predictability. This is also something we lean into with the story arc of 47. There's always someone telling him what
No
to
one
do.
care about this.
We wanted to really show the relationship between Diana and 47 in this mission. And we do that in the ICA Data Core hack event. In this moment, 47 looks back at his past and is starting to realize the type of relationship he has with Diana.
Oh, I didn't need to
Who
bring my
is in
own
control
sniper
here?
rifle. Oh well, mine's cooler.
And also, what is she doing in this very moment? It is supposed to be part nostalgic and part forward-moving, as 47 deletes all of these moments and then uploads the rest of the ICA files, exposing them to the world, killing his past.
Giving you a chance to back down nice and easy.
Dude, where? Oh god. Oh lord, they're here.
If you see anyone matching his description, feel free to engage.
Oh no. They know.
I just mess around, so ease up for now, but stay sharp. That's affirmative.
Oh shit.
Standing down.
What?
Command! Yeah, I just found a half-naked person. What the hell is going on here? Hey, come on. Come on. Snap out of it.
Too easy, dude.
Why are you doing
No, don't just pull out the pistol. Drop the pistol. Well, that ain't working. Could be alright, though. He's scared. Little. Okay, I thought maybe I'd get him there. Alright, Drone. I'm hunting. Oh shit. Oh, the drone. I'll see more if I get up on the billboard. Okay. Yeah, we're doing good. Oh, can't do it that way. Gotta go this way. Gonna make them have a fight. Oh. It's farting. Illegal drones. They're illegal. Time to take them down. I base my morality exactly within the bounds of the written law because that's smart. But, come on, Agent 47. Agent. Mr. Gagent. Need to get your shit together. What the fuck? Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Believe that asshole shooting down my fucking track. Where he at though? Is there like some down here? Flying around. Oh, there's one. Little turkey. I thought this is how you started, like, this event. Is there one I'm missing? Oh, she's coming up there, I think. I think, like, previously I'd done it so I'd, like, wiretapped them or something. So that they have, like, drone beef. Target is in sight. Target is
Good,
fucking
that's Imogen Royce down.
dead.
Take care of Hush, and we can get to the core.
Easy.
Both
Easy.
targets down.
Easy.
Good. Just give me a second, and I'm in. You can now access the core
I'm in.
47.
We're in, baby.
Holy shit!
Oh, the brick. What? Dude, they know. They approximately
Hey,
know.
Wake up! I need you to get your shit together. Okay, calm down. What happened? Tell me. What's going on here? What happened? What's going on here? Come on, tell me.
They're having a moment.
Something's up. What is it?
You don't say.
happening?
Oh, there's more drones down here.
Try to kill. Whoa.
Bro, drone warfare, bro. Okay, I thought that was like a security camera.
Regroup and hit hard.
Huh? No regrouping. Not allowed. Oh, they're coming fast. They're coming hot. Coming haired.
He's
it's
right
just-
there.
Shut up!
Don't let him take control of the situation.
What's this do? Like foreign fucking legion? What?
Lost sight of him. Move to a better position.
Get ready. We've got trouble.
These guys are fast though. It's kind of freaking me out. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave the sniper rifle behind. Sloppy!
How long has it been?
Sloppy! Everybody's dead, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I like to see.
Oh, you saw pussy, man.
Shit. What's today's code? 113? No. Come on, think. 01. Definitely 01 something. 18? Yes. Got it. 011.
But I just opened
Welcome. Please follow the grey line to security check. Thank you.
Hey, did somebody just kill the fucking boss? I'm the director.
You can't be here.
Oops. Sorry,
Try
guys.
running away from this.
We blew it. And they knew it. We blew it, but they knew it. They knew it was coming. They knew we were gonna blow it. They knew where I was gonna they knew I was gonna blow.
You can use your camera to hack that panel.
Oh my god, I can. Pirate attack.
Security protocol overruled.
What's up, boys? I work here.
Never caught anything in the frisk.
Yeah, you caught a bunch of big fucking sweaty dicks, I bet. God damn. Elevator shaft got me feeling some type of way. What? Hang. Hang? Oh, hang. Okay, hang. Alright. Alright. I'm in here. Open shivering. Get up in here. Oh, it's like damp. Check it out, it's damp. Wait, we could have come in through here. What the? I didn't know that. That was kind of a waste of my time. A kind of a little bit of waste of my time. But we got an extra screwdriver out of it. We can throw that to somebody's neck or something. And that would be cool. Level 1 access. Sweet. Chloroform. Useful. Well, bam. You think they would have gotten security cameras that, like...
There's no way you're getting through that door 47.
I'd like to...
It only opens for
have
people with an
clearance
authentic
to open
security
this
clearance.
door.
The signal is encrypted. Without a dongle, we can't hack it.
Gotta get the dongle.
What is it, Jamie? What's wrong?
I don't know. I'm just worried about the skin.
Scan initiated. Scanning all body systems. Scanning hormonal profile. Scanning chemical profile. Scan complete. Thank you for your patience.
Did I win? Probably. Channel analyst. Alright. Alright. I work here now. Yes, well, work.
Access granted.
He's gonna frisk me. He's a frisker.
Hi.
I just love.
Sir, if you want to pass through,
That's all I hear, you know? Trying to talk shit, that's all I hear. What's up, man? I'm weird. I'm crouching down doing squats. Hey, yo, is that a dongle? My brother, do you possess a dongle? Oh? Dongle. Dongle? Let me in a bish.
Access granted.
So this guy's a problem, apparently. Destroy. A problem, no more. If you can tell that I'm not supposed to be here, I'm gonna make you not be here for a little bit by making you unconscious. Just a little bit. Tablet computer. What else do we have? Another dongle. A lot of dongles. Where's the camera? Oh, clever. It's on this side. Yeah, that's me realizing it's up there. Thank you. No reason to go in there, I think. Friskers. Friskers! Can I ball? Will you let a player live? Oh, somebody took a shit. And here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Analyzing. Analyzing. Analyzed. Analyzed.
Security protocol overruled.
How do I... Seems to be... I can access some sort of tube. Why does the data core thump like it has a heartbeat? Computers don't need to do that. I know a lot about computers. They don't need to do that. They don't be thumping. Might control something and goes thump.
Psychological debriefs already, and I still keep getting the take a break notification.
Do you need to frisk me again? Are you a freak like that?
Hello there, sir.
Hey.
I feel like shit. Berlin's
I doubt
bad.
anything else will help unless I can deal with the root cause first. All this goddamn stress.
Yeah, the holistic approach is really my thing. I guess there's no harm in trying.
Security protocol overruled.
Why is it so easy? They make it so easy. They kind of just boff this thing with a freaking newspaper. I don't even need to. When did I start boffing things, chat? I never say that. Let me in. Make him think he saw a freak out here. So he's not gonna come out here, right? But if I place a gun right here,
Whoa.
he's gonna go, what the freak?
Crap.
Did that lock me out of there? We'll see. But I become this dude. Wait, I'm compromised if I'm like this? Yeah, whatever. Hey man, I got locked out. Can you come get me?
Okay.
With a hammer. It's too easy.
Hello?
La 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 la. Thought maybe they dropped some cool key. Oh, I can just open these, alright. Easily defeated with a screwdriver, apparently. Which is ridiculous. That's just silly.
You don't have clearance to open this door.
I slammed my penis in the car door. I'm in the tubes. Oh, a muffin has some whiskey? Somebody knows what's up. Somebody came down here and had a muffin and whiskey party. Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I couldn't think right today because it was just itching my brain that I hadn't completed Hitman like I said I would. Like, all of it. I didn't feel bad. I was just like, damn. You know? Yeah, turkey, turkey. You know, I was making little turkey noises. Gobble, gobble. Find basic data. Bro, I'm not even trespassing. I'm just living.
Good. You're alone. I'm sealing the room and dimming the windows, 47. No need to worry about intruders.
I think I'll delete this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And I'll change the wallpaper to this and I'll make the monitor upside down. And I'll make the cursor inverted. And I'll hide the taskbar. And I'll hide all the icons on the desktop.
Clients,
and I'll take a
operatives,
screenshot of the desktop with all the shortcuts and I'll set that as the background.
Enough to shut them down for good. But first you need to locate all files referencing Diana and yourself.
I'm real good at computers. Let's just put this button here. Search that in Chinese. Weird OS, you know?
Tell me, what did it feel like? Taking lives?
Random. Disorder.
They've been watching us since the beginning, chat.
We are here. Basic training starts at 0600 hours. I should leave you to prepare. Perhaps I see possibility where others see limitation. I choose him.
The two of you go way back. I didn't realize that you... I don't know. I get why you want to protect her.
Yeah.
So, wipe all the data referring to the two of you from their system before we publish the rest.
Okay.
Pretty slow computer.
Okay, good. I've set up a link to an information nonprofit site. When you press that button, it's up there and the whole world will know. There's no undo, 47. This will shut the ICA down for good. You really okay with this? It's who you've been for so long.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for a change.
Put that shit on wonky lonks, dude.
I'll just return things to normal. No need to alert them we were here prematurely.
Intrusion detected.
Uh-oh, they know.
Shit! I missed that. We're blown, 47. I can hold the doors for a little while. Use the vents to get out.
Oh, is it supposed to be a quantum
now.
computer in there?
All
Anyways.
personnel. Breach protocol initiated.
This is bad. That means they'll shoot on sight. I'm gonna create some havoc, 47. Make the core melt down. Maybe we'll divert their attention a bit.
Warning. Core overheating. Warning. Core shut down. Temperature critical. Warning.
Oh.
Fire detected.
Don't do it in here. Don't do it in this part, please. Dude, the fucking speakers are vibrating in my brain.
Land area is all clear. Please advise, over.
Is it?
All personnel. Breach protocol initiated.
Command, got nothing. Stand by.
Banana.
Warning. Core overheating.
Command, anybody there? Come in.
Y'all ready to see some funny shit? Watch this, watch this, watch this.
Warning.
Damn.
Fire detected.
Command, you read me. Over.
check it out, dude. Damn it.
We done with the crybaby shit? Let's go get our
All
bad guys.
personnel.
On the double.
Breach protocol initiated.
Dang it. Nice. That was funny.
Area is all clear.
Warning.
Advise, over.
Core overheating.
I can be one of them. I'm one of you now.
Anybody copy? No sign of any pup. Moving on.
Oh, they know though. You know?
Warning. Fire detected.
So there was an access key in there the whole time? Damn, y'all, shit's on fire. That sucks. Can't trick me. You know, they try to scare you with the big alarm blaring. None of it's real. It's fine.
All personnel. Breach protocol initiated.
Stand by.
You just find a hole, you go in the hole. It's simple as that. They never send anyone in here. That's why that one dude was just chilling in there with a muffin and some whiskey. You know? Hmm.
Keep your eyes
Warning.
open.
Core
Here, I know it.
overheating.
What's that,
He's
Command?
here. I know it. It sure left a lot of possibilities for me to just walk past them. I guess it's pretty impromptu, what they're doing. To be fair.
Man, yeah, I'm here now. It's all clear. Over.
And we can just go out this way. Right? Right.
Warning. Fire detected.
Bro, look at all those people. Dude, all these people. Kind of sus, guys. Kind of looks
Shit.
weird.
That was tense, 47.
Girl, you have no idea. I've had people shoot at me on the toilet, girl. You don't know nothing about this life yet. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. Whoa. He almost ran over that guy. Yep, telecom. Yep. That's their company jingle. It's just their name and then a fart. Count to stop. 47 succeeded in invading the neighborhood, and now the scout is facing the neighborhood, like from TF2. Hold on, I know we're missing the audio.
You win. So,
What happens now?
the ball's in your court, Miss
Burnwood, I do have other candidates, you know. Most of whom have never tied me to a chair.
You've seen the news. That was 47 acting on his own. He is untethered. He is
She is free.
unstoppable, and he cannot be bargained with.
This is not worth
He
discussing.
will find you, Mr. Edwards. And I'm the only chance you've got.
I'm listening.
47 has one weakness.
There are 47 weaknesses. Great book. All right. Now we know. Man's a sucker for a good read. I don't blame him. Uh-oh. Hitman server's been lost. There was a mistake in the network. Check your contact. Okay. Goodbye, question mark? That's a good mission name. Goodbye? Question mark? Diesel process. Gaucho diesel. Gaucho diesel, if you will. And I don't know who that is, but you know, pretty crazy guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, metal dog. Metal dog. We'll get that one. Okay. That and that and that and that and that'll be good. That'll be good for us. Change this to windowed mode. And there we are. Okay. Aha. The thing I installed works. Cool. This. Okay. Cool.
Huh. The rich scratch their asses too when they think nobody's watching.
We're here.
Don't be crude. Pay attention. Yates wants us on high alert.
We've been at this for months. Ever since the 1% killings began. Nothing's gonna happen.
I know. But when you start thinking like that, that's when it does.
Who are we on the lookout for anyway?
Yates didn't say. Just a standby for a picture ID and a kill order.
Fine. I'll just practice my lip reading.
This guy reads lips.
Oh. All right.
Bro, they know. They know. They know. They knew. Instantly, they knew.
Huh. The rich scratch their asses too when they think nobody's watching.
Damn.
Don't be crude. Pay attention. Yates wants us on high alert.
We've been at this for months.
Even the turkey knew.
Ever since the 1% killings began. Nothing's gonna happen.
Is there a wrench down here? There's a hammer.
Thinking like that, that's when it does.
Is there a wrench
Who are
down
we
here?
on the lookout for anyway?
Yates
Really
didn't
cool if
say.
there was a wrench.
Just a standby for a picture ID and a kill order.
Fine.
Got a wrench in there? Looks like a guy that would have a wrench.
I've always
Oh, they see me. Is there a wrench in here, though? Hey, quit being mean to me. There's a crowbar. You know, this is like where a wrench would live. Alright, well, third time's charm. Immediately delete important documents from the security
Rich
camera.
scratch their asses too when they think nobody's watching.
Don't be crude. attention. Yates wants us on high alert.
Yeah.
We've been at this for months.
Huh.
Ever since the 1% killings began.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen. I know. When you start thinking like that, that's when it's done. Who are we on the lookout for anyway? Yates didn't say. Stand by for Fine. Gotta be kidding me.
Hey, could you find out what that was?
Understood. Oh shit.
Damn it.
This here.
Got him. Don't got her. Okay, so if you go really quick, you can do this. Sort of.
Huh. The rich scratch their asses too when they think nobody's watching.
Don't be crude. Pay attention. Yates wants us on high alert.
We've been at this for months. Ever since the 1%
So you got to do that naturally. Okay, so.
Huh. The rich scratch their asses too when they think nobody's watching.
Don't be crude. Pay attention. Yates wants us on high alert.
We've been at this for months. Ever since the 1% killings began. Nothing's gonna happen.
I know. But when you start thinking like that, that's when it does. Who are we on the lookout for anyway? Yates didn't say. Just a standby for a picture ID and a kill order.
Fine. I'll just practice my lip reading.
I'll just practice my scrunting. And my grunting.
Whoa.
Damn it, is she already behind that damn rock? Oh, son of a bitch. God damn it. She already behind that goddamn rock. God damn it. Gotta go even faster.
Huh. The rich scratch their asses too when they think nobody's watching.
Don't be crude.
Apparently the rich scratch their asses.
We've been at this
Did you guys know that?
Ever since the
This guy won't stop talking about it. It's freaked me out.
I know.
How do I throw this up there? I can't. And it's sad. It makes me sad.
Who are we on the lookout for anyway?
But we got a nail paddle. Time to deliver this pizza ball.
Stand by for a picture ID and a kill order. Bye.
Whoa. Amazing. Okay, that's good. Good start. Yeah, I don't know why I pushed him. Probably didn't need to do that. But we gotta eliminate.
like an accident.
Immediately.
This was going in the ground.
Okay, I don't know why. Okay, it was going good until I pushed that guy. I don't know why I pushed that guy. I'm having difficulty here. Having a lot of fun, though. Having difficult fun. Opening the tunnel door or other disturbing activities can attract unplayable characters.
The rich scratch their asses too when they think nobody's watching.
Don't be crude. Pay attention. The gates want to come high or low.
We've been at this for months. Ever since the 1% killings began. Nothing's
Didn't mean
gonna
to-
happen.
I know. When you start thinking like that,
Grab the thing.
who
Go
are we on
thing.
the lookout for anyway? Yates didn't say. Just a standby for a picture ID and a kill order.
Fine. I'll just practice my lip reading.
Yes, thank you. They didn't notice me sniping her? Okay, I'm gonna save. Nope, can't save. Wait, what? How can I save? Huh? Huh? What's the sound? It was freaky.
Hey, talk to me. I can't hear me. ¿Qué pasa?
Can't be this easy.
Estás loco, okay? Wake up.
Was that motherfucking pole one can slide down?
Could you possibly ID the faster? I don't know. I didn't see it. Okay, wait.
Guys, they hate my ass. They hate what I did. They hate everything I'm about. Hate my swag and my style.
Hey, something bad is going down. Man,
Oh, another Baldman. Man, look at those pants. You could hide a lot of like. You could hide a lot of cum in there. Hide a lot of cum in my pants though. That's why I gotta wear these boots. Keep it all in. You're not getting my cum. Not tonight. Jesus fucking Christ.
How did you know?
Your deal. That
How'd you know, Forum?
Always comes with a price. It's yours.
I think you know. I am sorry.
I'm being.
This is a necessary evil.
What have you done?
Uh-oh.
Ether brand neurotoxin transfers by touch. See, Edwards learns by his mistakes, 47.
Oh no.
And as you've clearly demonstrated, brute force is futile. It had to be me. It was the only way.
To get this close.
I am calm.
My family. I know what you did.
I know what I did.
After all these years, I finally know.
I am sorry.
You didn't have a choice.
You have no
I
choice.
did.
Yeah.
Providence used you, but I'm no better. All I saw was a blank slate, a
Saw an
weapon to wield.
empty piece of paper.
I told
Gun.
myself it was what you needed, but people aren't meant to be controlled. This is a kindness.
A charity.
Goodbye,
Bye.
Agent.
Criminal. Bye, criminal.
Goodbye, criminal.
Once a baby, now a criminal. Okay. Where does it start? Criminal behavior. Can't use this. All right. It's time for the craziest fucking mission you've ever seen. I promise it's nutty. No, we need some introduction on this. We can't just start in the middle of it. I forgot about that. Criminal behavior. He sees a spy, he could be charged. Okay, I wake up. Eat their brand neurotoxin. So, in this mission, Agent 47, after being dosed with some fucked up poison, is stranded in a moving train. And this train does not stop. Hardly ever. Or I don't think at all. And they do fucked up experiments on the fucked up train that never stops. They do it all the time.
What the hell?
Okay. And we can leave, you know?
We need to find a catchy name for it. For when we go commercial, I mean.
You figure this thing has commercial applications? Who'd want to have their minds
We inspected. We inspect.
Not wiped, obviously. But that's just fine-tuning. Okay, right now the serum erases long and short-term memory banks wholesale. But in a couple of cycles, we'll be able to isolate the effect to individual memories. Imagine if you could pluck out childhood traumas, ugly breakups, combat trauma. You guys should be over the moon.
What are you talking about? I love waking up in a cold sweat with a scream stuck in my throat. So, what would you call it then?
Weird. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like 1979. Obviously, it's that. Easy, too easy. Like, actually too easy. Rowood bar.
When I wanted to get something.
Told you we were on a train. You didn't touch her, that's bullshit. We're in the Romanian Carpathians. It's a little chilly. And this guy, yank. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. That's good. Thank you. Yes. That was pretty funny, I agree. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I really like that. Yeah, sometimes you scare the fart out of somebody. I just realized I never set any of these 1 hour of silence interrupted by videos to loop at all. And I'm thinking maybe I should do that before it just starts playing random things. Happy sensation. You just run up here and everything is basically fine. Climb down and around. Climb through. We climb through. We climb through.
The Ether Corporation bought this train for sample backup storage.
And then we go in here.
Way I Black.
Okay.
Missile launch control center, prison transport.
It's a cicada guard, so they say. Is this like a taser? What do I have? What do I have? Where do I go? Smooth. Yeah, this is just a puzzle game, really. It's really just a puzzle game if you think about it. Silence weapons. Ah yes, time to make some dumb shit. Love it. Love it. Second panel's closed. Damn. I haven't unlocked second panel yet. That. Yeah, just go. Just go out there. Wait, no. Don't climb through it again. Damn it! It's not what I meant to do. I am wondering. These fuck you. Can I open that? Right there. It's like really hard to judge your distance on this thing. Alright, whatever. Figure it out later. So. Muffin. Took me a second to make a decision. Yeah. Yeah. Got a high voltage panel. Bro, move. I'm going up no matter what the cost. Weird. Okay, whatever. It's probably just like some graphical shit that I'm overanalyzing because I want to get in that fucking box so bad. You know what? Fuck you. Come here. Okay. Well, he's there now. Here I go. Rough old rough. Yeah. Sometimes you find a rough old rough. Here I come. Quickly adapt to the situation.
Where are we supposed to be exactly? Ukraine?
Poop Town.
It all looks the same through the blizzard.
Nah, somewhere in Romania.
Romania.
Romanian. I've got to climb through. I can't just hang. Just hang.
Well done.
Bro, don't break into that thing.
Hey.
Yeah, hey.
Hey.
Oh, can you grab me a soda or something from the fridge? Just whenever you're heading back this way, no rush.
Oh, okay. We gotta get that guy soda. Later, I mean. Understandable you would question me on that. Yeah, this I've unlocked before. Yeah, that big ammo, yeah. Nice. Valve installation. Yeah, sorry, I had to bring the valve. Pomegranate fragments. Soap good. Yeah, soap good. These guys got stupid lights on their heads, dude. They can see everything.
Why is this happening to me today of all days?
He's so zesty.
It's ridiculous, if you ask me. Whole train full of mercs to guard one guy.
You do know who he is, right?
Sure, sure. Everyone's very impressed. I get it. And if you want some kind of elaborately planned
This dude keeps
calamity,
looking around like
convenient
crazy.
heart attack, sure, he's your man. But how does he manage in a brawl? I'm willing to bet this guy doesn't hold a candle to any of us.
Is that?
Oh, so that's a damn grenade.
Man, yeah, I'm here now. It's all clear. Over. What?
Oh, Mom, it's bad.
Another day in the office. Move out, people. Affirmative.
Okay, that was maybe a little too early, premature. I'm a preemie. I'm a pre-jack. That's what I meant to say. But with the grenade, you know? Look at that face.
But how does he
could you
manage
say-
in a brawl?
How could you say no to that?
I'm willing to bet this guy doesn't hold a candle to any of us. Too much sneaking around and dressing up. Too little fighting.
Right. You could. Whoa.
Hey, that ain't funny. Someone could get hurt.
Hey, you! What seems to be the problem here? Command! Command! Okay, we've got a murder on our hands. Let's get this guy! What's that? Get him in your sights. Pull that trigger, Jen.
This gun sucks. Kidding me?
Fire in the hole! No! Williamson is dead!
Oh man, he knew his name.
Enjoy!
That grenade should have went off.
Damn!
Okay, this is very very silly. Let's try that again.
But how does he manage in a brawl? I'm willing to bet this guy doesn't
How does he
hold a
manage with
candle to
balls?
any of us. Too much sneaking around and dressing up, too little fighting.
Right. You
How's
feel
this
like
man
putting that
handle
theory
his
to the
balls?
test?
I just might.
What? Wait, huh? Wait, what? I wasn't ready. Oh shit. Wait, huh? Bro, I was like doing something. I was like fucking with something. What the hell? Leave me alone.
But how does he manage in a brawl? I'm willing to bet this guy doesn't hold a candle to any of us. Too much sneaking around and dressing up, too little fighting.
Right. You feel like putting that theory to the test?
I just might.
Brother, I just might. Oh, it's that easy. Dude, I wish I had Crunchy's extra dry chips. Extra dry. Keys to the truck. Keys to the truck. Okay. And this thing. The Huangguang. And this. It's specialty equipment. Oh, another grenade. Uh-huh. I know what I must do. Also, I really need to pee. So, I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.
Huh?
Well done.
I return empty of piss. And with a dentist-inspired meal. It's not really a meal, just bowl rice. There's some salt in it. Don't worry, I eat better than this. Anytime to... You can't do that. Oh wait, I didn't, Clearly, I'm thinking more about the food than the game. So... So what do we do here? I'm thinking.
Poopity poop poop poopy pee. Pee pee poop poop pissy pissy pissy.
True. Hey, what's up, Dr. Butt Doctor? Trying to think of something I could put on in the meanwhile. While I eat a spot of rice. A wee spot. Mm-hmm. We could watch Sam's newest video. Because he recently made Chew. And Spore. Bobby Fingers Chirp. Yeah, we could. Let's open this up here. Yes. I'm preparing my browser. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can do the pop-out thing, which is beautiful. Beautiful what technology can do these days with pop-out windows. I guess it's window capture, yes. I need fuel in order to beat this game, so we're gonna watch this while I eat some random garbage I found. My dentist-inspired meal. I've snacked on potato chippies 4 times in less than hours. You've been making me crave potato chips, and also stuff in this game has been talking about potato chips. I don't want to cook. I don't want to cook either. That's why all my food's been so shitty recently. Should I like order some food? Probably not. I'll just make some like noodles. Have some protein after the stream. I don't even want to fry an egg on toast. I was thinking about making beans on toast because the toaster died. Oh, fuck. I'm an American who totally 100% fucks with beans on toast. I love it. It's great. I don't see what the big problem is people have with it. It's the perfect combo. Beans on toast, something I didn't consider. Yeah. I'm gonna keep a little bit of Hitman in the background, I think, so that it's still clear that we're gonna play Hitman. Still. I don't know why I referred to myself as the janitor. All right.
My cat is on my shoulders. I have a new chair, and she gets to sit on top of it. I can actually pull up a picture somewhere, if I can find it. Yes, perfect. But she can sit on top of my chair. Isn't that so exciting? Ghoul gave me a chair, and Akane can sit up there now. Anyway, hi guys, we're playing Spore. Akane reveal, yeah, my baby. Spore is happening. It's one of those old games, so it doesn't like being tabbed out of. I still have to tab out. Oh my god, is it gonna bug on me because I tabbed out? We're good. Everything's cool. We're smooth sailing. We're good. Oh, whoa! He was so big and I ate him. Oh, he's so big and he's gonna eat me. Don't stick me in your maw.
Me, by the way.
Please don't eat me. Please don't eat me. I really don't want to get eaten. No, they're all coming after me. This guy has been after me since the beginning. Please, can somebody let me just eat some raw meat that's floating around in the ether? I'm gonna eat you. Yes! Revenge. Okay, let's call him mate. No, don't eat me while I mate. We're making a freak. It's gonna look like one of my mods personas. It's just a little tiny orb of a dog. So we're gonna try our best. It's getting green hot dog vibes. It's fine. We have to make it white. Once we do that, it'll look like Chew. Hold on. I don't like that texture. We need it to be like shiny smooth, and then eventually we'll make it fluffy somehow. We're making Chew. We'll do it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, wait, no, name my species.
Oh yeah.
I'm regretting the texture. It looks like corduroy. I like that I made him like a fucking, what are they called? Like a flounder, where the eyes are just on one side. Two-dimensional little animal.
It took him fucking forever to find a flounder pick. Oh yeah, I still have the 1 hour silence interrupted by videos playing in the background. So this is gonna be like an ultra brain rot version of this video.
I'm on the path to sentience. Oh great, cool. Chew's gonna think for itself. Isn't that great, guys? I can evolve? Okay, it's time. Okay, we're getting rid of the 2D flounder. This is great. I don't know if his mouth actually has to reach anything. Not 2. Just 1.
My ass!
We need to pick a texture. Thank you for making those wonderful noises, little guy. I really appreciate it. Why does the mouth look like that? I didn't give it ears. Oh my god.
Perfect timing.
Oh, look at us. I don't want to mate yet. It's not time. Why am I like... Is it like gelatinous? There's like a translucent film around him. He's like an egg yolk. I said, what the fuck? Why does he look like this? What did I pick that made him gelatinous? I can also
he has like
progress
jiggle physics.
by making friends. Why would I make friends when I want to kill? Okay, that's kind of snout-like.
Did you see him with the gun?
Progress through by making friends. Why would I make friends when I want to?
Look at that. Look at how lovingly rendered he made that. Does he have like a gun thing for his PNG tuber? Can he get violent?
Kill. Okay, that's kind of snout-like.
Oh god.
In and like pointing in at yourself like you're a polite little lad. Yeah, that's perfect. What's the closest thing to pawsies? This is absolutely a dog. We just need ears. I didn't get to give him ears, because I can't afford it. But maybe the next generation of Chew will get to enjoy having ears. We're so gelatinous and fluffy. Oh, this is fantastic. Kill. Maim. Attack. Go, doggy. Oh, it wants me to kill one more, though, for 25 DNA. I'll watch them make another baby, and then I will eat them. Oh, shit, I got smarter. Cool. Is there a point to eating them if I don't need health? I think I'm just being gluttonous. I'm glistening. This is great. Oh, whoa, that's cool. That's the moon? Wait, no, I can just see all the other little planets. Oh, that's the moon. I can see all the galaxies, though. That's neat. I've never looked up and explored before. The vibes are great here. It's a good spot. No way, we live in, like, Vibe City. Of course we do. This is great. This is awesome. Ew, you look horrible. Why are your eyes like that? Yeah, bust a move. Can we afford ears now? Let's stop being tiny. Let's become massive. Biggest orb in the land. I really wish she was here. I don't know where they are right now. Yes, wait. I'm having a great time. This is wonderful. This is an animal. Okay, not these hands, not these feet. You, sorry. But don't look up at God like that, please. Where are the paws? Maybe I should give them a head. I don't know if that's any better. Maybe, actually. I'm not going back. Okay, I want to add the grass, but I know where you need to add it. Stand up for me, dog. He got so nervous. I think this version of Chew is going to be diplomatic and kind to the people around it. I'm sorry, Alpha, please, may I try to impress thee? What? Why didn't I meet your needs? I'm sorry, you guys have really high standards. Singing? Okay. Alright, she was made a friend. We have an eyeball now. Oh, I befriended like the weakest little idiots out here. You guys don't need to follow me around. Don't follow me around. Stay home. I'll come back. Frog boy. I can't communicate with this guy. That guy hates me. I need to get this right. That's singing. That's striking a pose. No, wait, was that charm? No, don't eat me. No, I'm sorry. What is that awful noise? Quit it.
I wasn't there for most of this. I show up.
But I do want that little thing that's over here if you don't mind. I know I just ate your son or whatever, but I'm gonna take this from your home. What are you? Can I socialize with you? You look really cool. I think we could be besties. Oh my god, he has so much more charm than I do. I can't keep up with this. I can't. You guys are so sophisticated. Let me take your eyeballs and leave. Oh, I love these.
Oddly relatable.
I'm just not good enough at singing. I'm sorry. Well, you know fucking what then? I'll eat you. If you're gonna be like that, it's over.
It's over.
You're getting extinctified because I'm not good enough at singing apparently. What are you guys? You guys are like people. What the fuck is that?
Oh god.
Okay, I'm out. Bye guys. Whoa, Chumbu? I would like to befriend you.
Oh yeah, I had to step away because
I have to evolve. I have to get more swag. I'm not swaggy enough. Hi, Chew. This is what you look like.
This is when I show up.
This is you so far. You're quite the creature, if I don't say so myself. We were an orb previously. I gave you a head this evolution, but we have to give you more swag now because nobody will dance with us. Where are the other Chews? Where are the Chews? Impress 3 Chumbu to ally. I can't impress anybody. I like how I've made every single iteration of Chew just incredibly different from the last. Okay, we're gonna get new wings. We're gonna get rid of this shit. Whatever the fuck this is. Don't look so offended. Would this be a better snout? It's giving bear. It's giving polar bear. It's not giving puppy. Is there a way to give it like a nose? Oh, we can stick stuff on the snout. You can make a super long mouth and put the eyes on it. That looks like a nose. That looks like what I want, but it's also the eyeball, which is the problem. Yes, there we go. I mean, like, okay, that's better than nothing. Please stop moving. Please stop moving. I'm gonna have a fit if you keep moving. Also, where's the, like, funny butthole?
He's trying to give it an asshole and nipples. And like a bra.
Hold on. Stop moving when I give you nipples. It's weird. Let them poke through. Now make
Stop
them all
moving
dance.
when I
Okay.
give you nipples. Speechless. Holy shit.
Why are you leaving me?
My favorite part of the whole video.
Why is everyone leaving me? I don't want them to leave me. No, we're migrating to a new nest. Follow them to find a mate and claim a new home base. Okay. Why did they leave without me? Well, you two have fun raising yourself. I'm taking your parents. I'm sorry. Are you coming with us? Are you following us? No, I want these goodies. Please don't eat me. Please don't eat me with your really big butthole.
Oh god.
I'm gonna take your goodies though. Thank you. Goodbye.
What's that monster prolapse by the pool? Alright, misophonia viewers.
Claim this nest. Future generations will be born here. I have a neighbor that's like the size of a mansion. I don't know if we will live that long. Because I think he's going to eat everyone else in the vicinity. And I don't know how much time we have left. On that day, Chukind received a grim reminder. He's just eating the guys that I wanted to eat. These are little men. Alpha nosy boy. I don't like having nosy neighbors. You guys have to die. I'm sorry. It's non-negotiable. Delicious. Yummy. Thank you. Find new parts to evolve. Is that my only job? I think I only have like one more evolution maybe before it's tribal stage. Alright, let's go looking around for more people to murder. I don't like that music. What does that mean? What does that mean? Excuse me? Excuse me? Natural disaster? I need to go home? Or is this like a
disaster
meteor
time.
shower? What's happening?
Yeah, that happens in Spore. Natural disasters.
No more rocks falling from the sky. Okay, we are so shiny. You're just by yourself swagging out, huh? I don't like that. I shouldn't have made it yet. Wait, I made a mistake. Okay. Oh, we have so many mouths. Okay. Big pawsies. These ones look like actual dog paws, which is nice. Do we have grippers that look like that? We do. Okay, awesome. We are back in puppy mode. We gotta move the caboose for a second. Oh, we can't afford that, but we can afford this. Which is perfect for our needs. We need a snout. We can't afford any snouts. We have too many things. Oh, we can be puffy. We can have a nice puffy tail. That's a little bit better. It's kind of squirrely, but it's better. I like the weird orb with 4 legs. Maybe we should get rid of the head, which is a problem. I want these ears to be a lot bigger. Hold on. Let me reform the spine. Oh my god, I can't click on the spine. Yeah, just put that up here for a second. Alright, let's reevaluate. Let's become orb. We're going back to orb. We need this to give dog for the nose. We don't. Do we not have 25? We have 24. This is our budget. We are 1 DNA short of our goal. Okay. This is so horrible. Can't sing very well at all. Oh, but we're matching. We're matching the vibe. Wait, we might become friends. I think I'm about to get eaten, though. Oh, my friend just died. You just got stomped on and it was over. I just want you in my pack. I don't want to mate. Stop putting your butt in my face. We don't need that right now. Hey, dude. We live on the edge of his domain. What are you guys? Ew. The fuck? I kind of fuck with it. Can we be friends? Is this dancing? I can dance like a fucking champ. I guess we can befriend each other. Oh, you think I'm so cool? Do you want to be my bestie? You want to join me on my journey and we can go eat those other guys that are over there? You guys are easy to impress. That is so cool, little guy. You're so smart. Please, lead the way. We'll follow. Don't worry. And we're so nice that even when you don't meet our standards, we will continue to meet your standards with you and compromise, which nobody else in this game fucking does for some reason.
Yeah, no
Alright,
one
you're the biggest
compromises.
one. I want you on my team. Join me, thank you. Oh, that's a big guy. Is he about to eat us? Is he about to eat us? Oh, we're dancing? Okay. Oh, this is gonna take a while. Oh, and that guy is eating us. We're gonna do this in the face of adversity. No, we're fucking not. Get out of here, guys. These little guys are like stopping to wait for me or something, and we can't do that. We're being chased. Oh, this is making him so mad, but I want your pieces. I want what you have. Eat them. Don't eat me. Eat the little freaks that are in front of you. What is happening? What is happening?
Dude, look at me get fucking owned.
Okay, we are running. We are running away. Oh, he just killed my little guys. Can I make these guys fight each other? Can I make like a big kaiju fight happen? I don't know. I'm scared. Oh my god, is my health like draining? I'm starving.
It was well timed.
Eat. I don't care. I don't care what happens. Eat.
I forget which one's mine, but I think I'm the little guy.
Oh my god. Bye.
Smoking crack, or smoking. He's vaping from a pipe or smoke. I don't know.
Okay. All right. We're
It's not
alive
crack.
though. My
It's definitely not
bestie's
crack.
dead, and my other bestie is dead, but that's okay. R.I.P. I don't want to friend you guys. I'm gonna eat you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I'm gonna eat your young. Oh, I'm so dead. I'm so dead if I stay here.
My little spinny cap is real.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, you guys are my besties, right? You can defend me. You can defend me from these guys who are being so mean to me, so unjustly mean to me. You guys don't need to hear their side of the story, okay? They're so mean to me. Thank you guys for your hospitality. So that's the point of having allies. As long as I don't roll up into their streets and start eating their babies, I don't think they really care about me. Just give me your bones.
Wait, why does
I'm
the
scavenging,
alien?
okay?
Why does his
I'll be
alien? I just
fine.
noticed
I'm
his.
just gonna scavenge. I don't want you.
It's wearing. It's wearing a "I want to believe" shirt. He went. So the alien went to Earth and found that shirt and was like, "That's hilarious because we are real," and then he bought it. That's great. Environmental storytelling.
Ooh. Yikes. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Leave me alone, no! Oh. That pose! Oh no!
Oh no, I died real bottom like. Ass up.
Wait, they're migrating again. Where are we going? We just moved. Where are you going? Come with me. You come with me. Are these
Just
guys
a
still my
fat
friends?
orb.
Yeah, they're
Just a
still my
fat
friends. We're good
spear on
friends.
legs.
The weird upside down people. Hello. Face down, ass up. I respect it. You guys are my lunch. I just really need
What a
new
quote.
parts. I don't really care about anything else. Oh, they're the things.
Face
that I want.
down,
They're the
ass
things
up.
that
I
want. It's not
respect
here. It's
it.
not here right now.
You guys are my
Give me the
lunch.
big bones. Give me the big bones. Alpha Mozilla. Hello?
The fuck? Is that allowed?
What the fuck? You guys are something.
I appear. I go over here.
Oh, he's a dancer. Oh, we're better than them. We're more charming. Oh, hello! Goodbye.
Here's good.
Oh, goodbye. Oh, this is my home. I wasn't even looking for it, and I found it. What a creature. I can't stop looking at him. It's like watching a car crash, looking at
Really?
this guy. It really is. I don't like him. I say that as if I'm not also an orb with a weird, uncanny face. Are you guys, what are you guys? Do I get more for befriending you? Or
I look
do
like a fucking golf
I
ball
get more
grew
for
legs.
killing you. And it looks like I probably can. They don't seem to have very good offense. I'm just going to kill them. I still have to hunt you guys. I get DNA for this. This might be my last task that I have to do. And then I can move on to the tribal stage.
A long neck guru.
Okay, that thing is here. I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm dazed. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's really not good. I need to get away from this. They're still following me.
And
Oh my
if you
God.
want to see the end to this video, go check it out on Sam's channel. Samariyu, SAMARIYUU on YouTube. And just check it out. And just check it out. You know. Just go on his web zone and check it out. Wait, where'd I go? Bring me back. Thank you. I'm in the corner. I'm in the corner. All right, let's get back to some Hitman. Oh yeah, it was going bad. It was going bad. Right. And I decided I needed to recreate myself. As in, I needed recreation. As in, I needed to eat some fucking food.
But how does he manage in a brawl? I'm willing to bet this guy doesn't hold a candle to any of us. Too much sneaking around and dressing up.
Too much
Little
sneaking
fight.
around and fucking
Right.
around and sneaking around
Feel
and
like
fucking
putting that
around.
theory to the test? I just might.
Too much sneaking around and fucking around and sneaking around and fucking around. You know what I mean?
Hey, is that Adam? Sure sounded like Adam. Too much sneaking around.
It kind of sounds like Adam.
But how does he manage in a brawl? I'm willing to bet this guy doesn't hold a candle to any of us. Too much sneaking around and dressing up, too little fighting.
Right. You feel like putting that theory to the test?
I just might.
I just might. And how'd that go for you? How'd that go for you, though? Got the clover oxidize. I got a stalactite. Yeah, only stalactites on this train, I'd say. Valve installation. Include to be able. I think I already included to be able. You know? Alright, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna conservation. Chippies, extra droid. That's pretty good. New Zealanders have adopted it. Or they say that and you've adopted it, yeah. It's pretty adorable.
Hey, G.I. Jane, just a second.
Dude, don't use gendered insults.
You're in trouble now.
Sorry.
Sir, I'm talking to you, sir.
And not a clue. You'd hear a fly fart. No one could be any the wiser. Cool hat. Chat with the author now. Okay. To be inspected. Dude, he took a shit on it. It looks like. Guess he must have left his train. Like, yeah? I guess he jumped off to his absolute death? Like 100% guaranteed death? Almost? Or at least, like, nah, like, yeah, you're fucked up and then you're in the fucking wilderness. My braps might be alerting the guards, but I'm gonna continue on with my mission. Well done. Well done. Man, that's a lot of fucking dudes. Shut up, bot. Dr. Bot Doctor knows about the VOD channel. Oh wait, no one gives a shit. Sir. Everyone's like, sir, sir.
Sir. Sir. Sir.
Video on demand. I should have said it was like an STD. Yeah, VODs means video on demand, which this is technically live, like media, so video on demand versions of it is like a DVR, which means it's a recording of a live broadcast. I don't know, but like the terminology is that. Everyone says VOD. VODies. Yeah, to all my VODites. Dapper suit. Feel pretty dapper. Ugh. Yeah, I guess I just work here. Yo, that's wow, inspiring. I don't know. I think shit like that looks kind of cool. Pull lever and crate in case of emergency. Oh shit! See ya. Desk. For a train. Okay. Oh, I found him. Who is this?
I don't suppose there's any point calling for help.
No.
Seems I brought this on myself. Well played, Miss Burnwood. Do you really think she'll be able to resist all that power? This is not how people work.
She rejects the power, not the responsibility.
A noble idea. But please join me in the real world.
Some asshole
I trust you
opening the door to
already
your
know
office,
what this
exposing
is.
you to
Why not
Baltic.
simply take it? Embrace who you were always meant to be.
No, never again.
Well,
Yeah, bro, I
had to
want
try.
autonomy.
Go on then. Do your thing. At least I die knowing who I am.
We could give them the serum, but I'm not gonna do that. Grab it for later to fuck someone's day up, and cool gun. Can I disguise as him? No. Okay. Stop the train! I want to get out. I want Baltic. I want Baltic. Excuse me. God damn, this place sucks.
Hey, my balls have touched.
Fucking perfectly timed. He's having fun. Let him have fun. Keikon is just having a good laugh. She's burning she hates paper. She hates origami. One year
It's been a long time.
later.
Agent 47.
That's not who I am anymore.
No more from me,
pact
quote unquote.
is done.
The contract was signed.
The past.
He died once.
Dead.
Excuse me.
And yet, here you
Quote
are.
unquote, I'm here too. Why do people in this universe say quote unquote to each other a lot?
I choose this path because
Yes, I realize this is probably to italicize
there
text
will
or
always
something.
be people like them.
There's no
So there will
shortage of
always
such men.
be
There's
people like
they're
us.
always like us.
No one is untouchable.
No one can touch her.
It's good to be back.
Quote unquote, I'm happy to be back. Is that like over and out? A new deal. And thus he goes freelancer. He becomes autonomous. He remembers his past and how he is and why he is. And he says, no more. No more will I be told what to do. I will go freelancer. It's a difficult mission. Comprehensive experience. You know, I've done that fucking Silent Assassin suit only before. To get, like, I think the classic suit. I think. Well. And that was Hitman 3. He goes back to selling houses in the suburbs. Yeah, I would imagine he would move to, the creek. Oh, like kill him with a gun? It's kind of easy. Is there a save right there? Can I just pop him before he says anything? There. Yeah. I'm gonna kill you. I don't like you out there. I don't want to deal with you no more. Arthur Edwards, I'm sick of your ass. I'm gonna deal with you. Has a gun. Grabs that instead. Come on, man. Gotta be away. They really don't want me to be able to shoot him right here. I can't even pull out my weapon. Fetch. You can't use this? What do you mean? Oh, they wanted me to know that I had the serum available. Right hand. He gets a new deal. Nice. Oh, that's chameleon. Pastries. Yeah. Pastries. All right, we did it. That was Hitman 3. And then there's additional duties, which I really haven't done these. I haven't done these, so maybe I should, because I'm down to keep playing. I don't think... Oh, wait. I've never played these before. I'm not going to play them with the fucking bad translation mod. I'm not going to do that, because then I won't know what's going on. Like, at all.
Duties.
Duties. Look, anime. In Hitman. Anime. Anime. The Jin incident. Let's do some motherfucking freelancer, dude. Although with freelancer, I'm gonna be so fucking used to like having saves and stuff. Hold on. Places. We should do some like story missions for the ones that we haven't done all the missions for. Hot Top CD. Holy. Mission history badly. Huh? I'm beginning to become a little frustrated by the fact that no words in this game make sense anymore. It's beginning to affect my gameplay experience a little bit. I think I can still work through it a little bit more. Let's go over here. Actually, what kind of saves do we have? No, fuck it. I'm doing freelancer. I came to his house safely. True. Editors allow you to save / download while exercising. Can't you do that anyway? Spear children should open the unique shoes found in their
Very
bunkers.
Good, 47. More
Okay.
home improvements added.
Noted.
Love the lifestyle. It's soothing.
Thanks. Thanks, Diana. Thank you. My PNG tuber is not being very sensitive right now. Hold on. Move closer on accident. Ow. I bumped my noggin against the screen. It sucks. I like being a little tiny guy. I farted. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I would never fart. I'm too cute. Right. I would never do it. Alright. It wouldn't happen. Alright. Test. Test. Okay. Now I'm bouncing. Now I'm good. Oh god. These subtitles are fucked up. They don't know what's going on. Accidental killing gun. When you reset your password, you will not be able to remember it. That's a vaguely threatening thing for the game to tell me. Okay. Let's go take down Big Pharma.
Have a good trip, 47.
See you next fall. Spear children should open the unique shoes found in their bunkers. Who is Spear children? Why are they getting like messages through this game? Open a specific beauty shop will increase the number of items you can obtain from your finds. Okay, so he can now open up a beauty shop. That's interesting. Each level contains 3 random elements or 1 rare element. You can only choose one. Okay.
Welcome to the Isle of Scale. We have intel that the Syndicate is present in the area. Find the person and, well, you know the drill. Don't disappoint, 47.
I forgot.
Good luck.
Forgot how to do anything. I have fucking clown problems to deal with. Boy, yo. Oh, he's gonna be weird. No? It's gonna be normal. Okay. So far, things are actually looking up. We're actually doing pretty good.
Huh?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Oh, there's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. We're doing good. Okay, so they're up in there. Let's go this way. Mm-mm.
So far? That's what I like to hear.
Mm-mm-mm.
Priorities.
Just run, bro.
I hate to say this, Jebediah, but Miss Washington makes a valid point. Climate change
Say what?
has served you well so far, but the world is finally catching up.
No. What? No. No. You're supposed to get sick. You were supposed to get sick.
The council has been usurped by London.
I could have sworn this boat can't possibly be binding.
Where'd he go? You see him?
We're a secret society. It's not like we can take our
He was supposed to get sick.
But what?
provided that the others agree. The chairwoman does have the power to throw you off the council for obstruction. All right,
You. What seems to be the problem here? Hey, what's going
Send in the death clown.
Leave the area! Leave the area! Go! Go!
Yes. Okay.
That was
okay, I
bullshit.
understand.
I shot him with the throw-up gun. And he was just like, well, before I get sick, let me check it out. Like, no, that's not how it works. You get sick. You won't get to hit pause on the on that.
Is the council still in session?
No, they've called a recess. Sophia
Jeez.
Washington wants them to pass some kind of
Okay.
motion, but one of the council
Everything's
members
good.
is fighting her tooth and nail.
Huh. Wouldn't happen to be Jebediah Block, the coal baron, would it?
Yeah. How do you know?
Well,
Hmm?
I happen to know he's
Hmm?
on the council. He's one of the original
would you
five.
mind?
You know, the first
Check it
people to
out.
fund the Ark
On it.
Society back in '91. Plus, I just walked in on Sophia Washington screaming Block's name while beating up a pillow cushion. Oh, she was properly pissed.
Jeez.
Bro, don't worry.
I
It's
know
just
what's
clown.
What's
I'm just
that?
clowning around.
Paparazzi?
Clown behavior.
These assholes. Same as you.
Well, keep me posted in case he starts
It's called clowning, Mom. It's fucking serious. The baby's clowning. He's got to push for his dreams. People, beep, 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 beep.
Sophia the schemer. What's she up to this?
Sophia the schemer.
Sure, I saw something. I'm just tired. Time for a nice cup of tea. Wow.
Eventually, people come and check out the cool clown that keeps staring at them, you know? People check that out, typically. Now I have a girlfriend over there. Whenever I leave, I can have a girlfriend too, huh?
But I think we
both know that if it happens,
You sell guns? There's guns for sale over here. I don't know how the fucking security camera didn't just see me. I just accepted I was gonna get seen by it. How do I get over here? What the hell? Hey, this is fucked up. Let me over there.
What about the crop growth? Tundra's no good. Hydroponics.
Hey there.
I mean,
need anything?
Yeah.
I am.
What? El Matador. With tagged. Oh, cool skin. Gotta get that. Alright, cool.
If you need more, you know where to find me.
Is there? I guess it's because I'm wearing a mask, or I guess just I don't know.
Said it was around here. Why can't I find it? Dude.
Easy. Doing that came to me in a fucking dream.
And become completely distinct people. Heck, even ones that grow up together. How
thirsty.
I gotta try to come back with this. Actually, no, I'm just gonna grab it.
I hope no one notices me. I'm really staying out here.
Oops. Hey, but we could use this guy's costume. Outfit. Stuff.
Who's there?
Huh? Oh, okay. Conveniently even See, people just do that sometimes.
Where the hell am I?
If you grab them too hard.
Yeah, that's a great line. Wow, the band's gonna be psyched when they hear that.
Yeah, dude, they love that. They love that line. Hopefully my coworker doesn't see me. And I'm allowed to be here. Sweet. Oh, pole. Sweet. Oh, we are getting much closer. Oh, it's our friend. It's our little friend.
Shit! Oh my god! Are you insane? Please! Oh.
Well done, 47. This will surely be a blow to the Syndicate. Return to the safe house. Collect yourself. I'll be in touch.
It could be a drunk, it could be a corpse. I'm gonna go in for a closer look.
It'd be a cool corpse. I'm gonna go poke it with a stick, boss. Give me the corpse poking stick, boss. That's my goon voice. I was gooning out just now. Yeah, the missus says she wants me to goon. I don't know what that is. I said, hey, I already work hard enough at work, hey. You can give me a break here. The things I do to exit buildings.
Temporary stuff, however, is
Hear a magical glistening secret. 1 floor above us. But I kinda don't care. I kinda like risk management, and I'm just gonna skedaddle. Yeah. We leave. We go. We go. Expert killer with guns. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, chat. It's midnight. I finished Hitman 3. We finished the whole trilogy for the event. Had a lot of fun. Might be a bit before the next stream because I want to get some video editing done.
Good work back
Still
there.
the plan.
The Syndicate took a serious blow.
But
there is still much work
as
to
always,
get
thank
done.
you for tuning in.
Recuperate and prepare for your next assignment.
I won't take too long. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. VODs will be going up steadily day by day. Over the weekend, and I think Monday and Tuesday too so far. And the VOD for this day, I think will go up Wednesday on the YouTube channel. So yeah, y'all stay well out there. Mask up, be safe. Nice, Vine Boom, nice. And I'm gonna go get ready for bed, actually. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, catch y'all later. Peace. What? Oops. What do I? Let's see. Where to carry the 2? Put the 1. Very good. Thank you. Shout outs to all the people who made all these silence for an hour interrupted by X, Y, and Z. You're all very appreciated. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Catch y'all later. More updates on the Blue Sky and also in the Discord. Pussy in bio, go check it out. Look at the about page on the Twitch if you want to see stuff. Links to things. Yes. Okay. Good night.